with Beverly Thompson and Seamus O'Regan.
Where's the food? I want the Barbie doll. No, I want the Barbie doll. I want to play with it. I'm playing with it. I want it.
Yep.
We want
Been
food.
there.
We want food.
Taking kids out to, well, maybe not that bad, but taking kids out to a restaurant can be really tricky for parents to try to keep them occupied. What do? What's the best way around it? The parenting expert behind the blog, Multiple Mayhem Mamma, is here today. She'll break down the best ways to keep your kids calm while you're out at a restaurant for dinner. It was hard for me to keep them at the table. They'd be under the, and then, yeah, crawling around underneath.
Yes. And now, keeping the peace during a dinner out with the kids.
Wait. Hold on, Dante. You're having... Gia, no. You have cheese. Here.
Oh, yeah. From the temper tantrums to the crying and screaming, dining out with young children can be a nightmare for parents and for, of course, other patrons. But it's not impossible to make it through the meal and manage the mayhem. Samantha Kemp-Jackson is an expert on the subject. She's the mother of 4 behind the popular parenting blog, Multiple Mayhem Mamma. Love it. And right now she's in our studio to talk about that. And for some parents, they just don't go out. They will not go out. They're too terrified that it's going to be a scene.
Yeah, they're afraid that their children are going to have meltdowns and that their lives are over, their social lives are over, but that's actually not the case.
Well, I remember the meltdowns. So, you know, if you're taking a look, you're going to take your kids out and you're going to make a go of it. What would you say would be the toolkit must-haves?
So the toolkit must-haves, before you do anything, be prepared. Think it out in advance what you're going to do and what your strategy is. So have a plan of action before you go. Scope out case the joint, find out where you're going to go, figure out where the exits are, get a team play, so a team huddle with whoever you're going out with, your husband, your grandparents, whomever, and then make sure that you bring the right tools with you. So I like to bring coloring books, crayons, DVD player if I have to. I have my iPod.
So you think that's okay,
Yes.
the electronic part of it, to take your kid and let that child sit there and do that?
Well, not necessarily, but if I have to, I will bring out the big guns. Yes.
So is there a strategy in terms of try this first, then get to that?
Yes. Ideally, what I'd like to do is have the kids sit quietly. So I find that coloring, markers, crayons, I try to go to just your regular dollar store and get some coloring books for them so it's new, the novelty is there. I bring them out of my big bag and I show the kids, look, here you go, you know, here's some things to color with, and that usually keeps them going. But if they really, really start acting up, then yes, I'll let them play with the iPod or the DVD player.
So that's the big gun. So
Yes.
what about age groups and kids? Like at some point, you know, you're going to have a baby, you're going to have, I mean, things are going to happen. Not
Yes.
everything's going to go smoothly. At what point do you cut your losses and leave?
I think that it's really important to talk to, if the kids are old enough to understand, to explain to them in advance common courtesy and what's appropriate. But at the end of the day, if the children are not behaving and they're melting down in public and they're disturbing other people, then I think the message is that it's time to leave.
What about getting up and out of the seat?
Well,
I mean, some of them can't because they're little and they're strapped in, but that was the
Yes.
trouble. I mean, with my son, I can say this, he's at school. He would
Yes.
be off that seat and down on the floor, eating, throwing, doing whatever.
Yeah, so there's this wonderful invention, booster seats that have straps on them, and we actually have them in our car, and we take our kids and we put them in the booster seats if they're 2 years old or in that age group where they still need the booster seats. If they're old enough that they can get up and out of their chair, then you can reason with them in advance and tell them, if you get up and out of your chair and you don't listen, then it's time to leave.
So would you say that at some point it's too young? Like, don't take the baby, or would you say take the baby?
I think, ironically, little babies are actually easier if they're sleeping. My boys are 2. They're 2 two-year-old twins, and this is the hardest age because they're loud and they run around and stuff. So I think that little babies sometimes are okay, and then bigger kids that you can reason with.
2 twins that are 2.
Yes.
Okay, I trust you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks so much.
Coming up, New Country Rehab, the all-Canadian band, hits the...
Softness is always in fashion. Nothing